Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Today I'm going to be working on my Powderpuff tree. I let the tree grow and grow and grow, and it's taking up an enormous amount of space in the greenhouse. So today I'm going to prune it back, making it compact once again. Here's a look at the tree so you can see how long the branches have grown. Yeah, I let them grow, and the reason I'm letting it grow is that it's got some, pretty major scars in the trunk here. And if you let a tree grow, these scars tend to heal. The more growth you get from the trunk, the more healing you get. So that's one of the reasons. The other is I want to make it, super vigorous before I cut it back once again. I had some beautiful puffy red flowers on the plant over the summer. It looked really beautiful. The flowers have kind of dried up and they're kind of hanging off of the branches here. So most of that will get pruned away when I prune the tree back. The leaves are folded up right now because it's kind of mid-afternoon and I haven't watered it in a while. So it's a bit on the dry side. If it was well watered, these leaves would be out. But that's the way the plant protects itself. In drought or high sunlight, the leaves fold up, and when it has good moisture levels, they unfold. So my first step, I'll give the tree a good watering. I'm giving the tree a good watering. So it's important to keep the soil moist on these plants at all times. I had one before, and it dried out one day, and I watered it after it dried out, and the plant never recovered. It just died. So ever since that, I've been very careful to keep this tree moist at all times. Otherwise, like the other one, it could die in a single day. I'm going to begin the pruning now. I'm going to prune back all the long shoots to probably 2 leaves. So I've got a leaf, one to the left and one to the right on every branch. I don't want to shorten it any more than that. I want to keep some foliage on the tips of all the branches. So here I go, I'll do that, and then we'll come back and look at the tree and decide if any more branches need pruning. Okay, here I go with the pruning. So this branch crisscrosses another one. So that's not a very good direction. In this case, I'm going to prune it back to the one leaf that faces a good direction using directional pruning. But most branches, they'll just be pruned back to the first set of 2 leaves. So this one I can prune back to here. This one I guess I have to go to here. This big long one to here. And you can see the inner node here between this leaf and this one is huge. So in this case, I may have to take it back to just one leaf on the end of the branch. It's just too long and straight. So I can take this one back to here. And I always leave stubs on this plant from pruning. So you can see the stub from here. And I think it's a good idea because the stubs stay green. So until I leave it on, and then the tree kind of reroutes its plumbing to the new branch here, and this one kind of withers away, and then you can prune it back flush. That's how I've been doing it. I do that on my Brazilian rain trees too. And it seems to be a good idea. It works well. So here's one. I can prune this one back here, leaving 2 branches. This one to here. There's a big long one out the back here. Prune it to here. This one to here. Now I'm noticing some white. I don't know what that is on here. I don't think it's anything bad. It might just be fertilizer, or I'm not sure. So we can come back to here. This one back to here. And there's one over here that I can prune back to here. And one here. Okay, so I've got all the shoots reduced back, leaving 2 leaves on each branch. So now it's time to go in and look at the styling and do any corrective work. And some of these branches, as I mentioned, may need pruning back further. Here's what I've pruned off so far. Quite a bit. There's the look at the tree. Here's a look at the tree, and I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure this was the front that I had picked for the front of the tree. It's not obvious because the trunk kind of curls back and then comes forward again. I think that was my intention. Yeah, either way, you know, if this was the front of the tree, somewhere here that could work. There is still, you know, this fairly big scar there, but it is healing. So, I don't know. Somewhere here, maybe the front now. This branch has thickened up a lot here. So I'm going to check back on an old video and just see exactly what I had chosen for the front before I proceed any further. In the last video, I repotted this tree from a big nursery pot into this bonsai pot. So that was successful. And I picked this as the front. I think originally I had something like this as the front, but it was all just full of really nasty scars. I can see, looking back at the previous video, that these scars have closed up a lot, which is good. So letting it grow like that sure helped to heal those scars. But it did make some pretty non-compact foliage on it. It's kind of grown quite vigorous and coarse. So I think it's going to need some further pruning. I also need to reevaluate the front of this tree. This one branch is getting pretty big and it's sticking out the front. There may be some new possibilities open up, like this scar here was a big wound at first, but now it's almost completely closed over. This would now make a fairly good front. This scar over here is almost healed. There's nothing really, you know, poking you in the eye. Yeah, it's a possibility. I do see one branch in here that's died off. Maybe there's a pair of older branches here that have died off. It looks like just the one died off here. Maybe it just didn't get light. I would think that's probably why. You can see the big nasty scar here. There's a big wound here and a big one up here. Well, I think, you know, what was the former front here needs to be the back, because this branch is kind of coming out in your face. I could rotate the tree so the front's here, but the apex kind of goes away from you. So I think a better front is now the back here. The apex kind of comes forward. The branches aren't bad eye poker branches. There is one here that kind of comes straight out towards you. I may have to remove that. In this view it was kind of a back branch, which was alright. The other possibility is to remove this branch entirely. But then, you know, you've got this one big branch back here. Not much else. Yeah, some tough decisions. There are, on the old branches here, there's a lot of buds that have popped out all over the branches. So I think, you know, cutting this tree back hard would work. All these buds would become active and it would sprout new branches. Well, let me sit down with the tree and I'll pick a new front for it, or keep the same front and decide what I'm going to do. Just cleaning out some old dead flowers and leaves in here. Yeah, I'll come up with a plan. I've studied the tree and I've come up with a plan. My first step is to wire the tree. So I'm using a piece of wire here to mark the front, which is going to be the former back of the tree. So there I go. The tree is fully wired now, indicating the front of the tree. So it does mean I'll have to remove the one branch that's poking out in your eye. And the reason I'm not keeping that branch is that it's growing on the inside of the curve of a trunk, and there's another branch fairly close to it down here. So it might make a bit of a hole here for now, but I will fill it in later. So here's my first big step today, cutting off that branch. So here I go, just like that. So now you can see, you know, the trunk kind of comes away from you a bit, comes back forwards, and the apex comes towards you, which always looks proper on a bonsai. I do have a couple of branches crossing the trunk line here that I'll prune off. There's one gone and another one here. Now right here, I think I tried pruning a branch back, leaving a stump in case something grew, and nothing did. So that is now just a dead branch. Yeah, it's pretty brittle. It's all just dead wood. Back towards the base here, there's a little bit of living wood, but I'm going to prune that back flush. Because if this is the front of the tree, I don't want it stubbed there. I'll go just a little deeper to there. That should heal nicely. And we'll use some of Adam's cut paste on it. His magic cut paste, you can buy it from his website. And in 2, maybe 3 years, I'll let you know if it seems to work or not. I'm sure it does. It's made with love, so anything made with love always works. Okay, so that's sealed up. Oh, there's another little branch coming off here. I want to get rid of there. Okay, so there's another branch here growing from the inside of this curve that I got to take out just to clean up the structure a bit. There's one growing here, a little awkward looking. So now you can kind of see the form of the tree more. So there's a distance view of the tree. So it has quite a nice form. It's not perfect, but it has a nice form. So I've got a branch shooting straight up here. I don't want this apex, you can see it's growing on an angle. I don't want it coming too far forward. So I have some choices. I can prune it off to that vertical shoot. which is probably a good idea. I don't see anything better, so I am. I'm going to leave a stub. So here I go. That reduces the height of the tree also. And then I've got this branch, which kind of competes with the apex. But I have, you know, a good branch down low. I'm going to prune this one back to this leaf that faces outwards. To there. I get a little back further to there. And then I'm thinking of taking this all off. And there's a pretty nasty wire mark in here, so that's another reason I don't mind taking this top off this branch. So here I go, big cut like that, leaving a bit of a stub. Just clean up some little shoots in here. Just trying to branch out for here for some reason. Okay, so the next branch I'm looking at is this one. There's a stub I can clean up on it, like that. I can't make it any more compact, so that's the way it is. This branch that's cascading, so here's the dead bit. I'll prune that away. That was a nice branch. I'm not sure why it died off. Maybe it just didn't get light, or it wasn't. Maybe this branch grew too long and zapped the vigor out of it. Excuse me. Okay. There's a stub I can clean up there. Another one here. I can prune this back a little more compact. I have a leaf here and one here. Could I make this a bit more compact? Maybe. Done. I got a branch hanging here. I better prune it back. It's hanging down too low. And there's one shooting straight up here, a leaf. Prune the stub off there. And there's not much else in that branch. It looks kind of strange, but it's just a leaf sticking up. Maybe something better will grow in eventually. So I think this, you know, branch is looking quite nice. Everything's good. This is a little straight, but can't do much for now. So let's look at this side. There's a stub here I can prune back. Another stub here I can prune back. One here. Everything's looking pretty good on that branch. I don't like this, you know, straight section. I'm going to reduce it back a bit further. It's a little too stiff and straight looking. I have a bud back here that I could reduce this branch to. I think I will. I think it's getting a little long. So off comes a tip there. And this one, again, it's getting quite long. And I do have some branches back here and some buds, so I'm going to take it off to here. Take this one back to here. Just clean up a stub there. And I think that's looking pretty good. It's a bit of a weeping tree, but it's certainly has some style to it. Yeah. So I'll show you what I pruned off the tree today. There's a look at the tree from above, and then you can see the foliage and branches I took off, like quite a bit. So let's zoom in now and have a look at the tree. It has been another beautiful sunny day today, warm. We haven't had a good rain for over a month. And we've had pretty well full sun every day. So I've been spending a lot of time watering. It takes me about 2 hours to water everything thoroughly. And sometimes I need watering twice a day, which makes 4 hours of watering. But, you know, you have to do what you have to do. Normally this time of the year, it's kind of cold and rainy. So I would much rather have this nice, warm, sunny weather and do watering, which I don't mind doing, than to be, you know, worrying about keeping my plants warm at night. I bought a big bag of perlite the other day, a giant bag. So I have enough of that to make a lot of soil. I have to get some more safety zorb. They don't stock it in the stores anymore, so I have to special order it. So I'm waiting for it to come on sale. It's always good to buy stuff on sale because it's so expensive. When I first got into bonsai, safety zorb was $12.75 a bag, and now it's $22.30 or something like that. Yeah, things have changed. I've just posted the Toronto Bonsai Society's fall show and sale on my community tab on the channel, the YouTube channel, the Bonsai Zone. So if you go there, you can see all the details about the Toronto show. This year it is quite a big show. There's some big names coming to the show. There'll be some spectacular trees at the show. So I'm both very excited and maybe a little nervous about the show, because this year, the first time, you had to submit photos of your trees you're putting in the show, and there's a selection process, and if your tree gets picked to go in the show, well, that's the first step, and then it's a judge show, so there's several prizes for different categories, and yeah, it's going to be very, very exciting. So check out the community page for the Toronto Bonsai Society's fall show. And if you're in the area, I hope I see you there. So my powder puff is pruned up. It takes up a lot less space now. And that is it for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.